All right, are we live? Are we live? Oh, what's going on here? I don't know what that is. Okay. All right. So a lot has happened today. A lot's been going on, but I wanted to cover this Sebastian Rogers interview with the biological mother and stepdad. And so Nancy Grace interviewed them. We're gonna check it out. By the way, the second channel was crazy tonight. The whole P. Diddy arrest raid. I'm going to post it tomorrow, a clip of it. Do they know where Diddy is? Tonight was wild as hell. They going live about P. Diddy at 5? I mean, I don't know. At my time, it's 8 o'clock already.
February 26th, Monday morning, 6 a.m. From everything we can tell, that is the moment that Sebastian's mom and stepdad realize he's gone. For just one moment, imagine that. You go in your child's room where you find your child every single school day morning and you wake them up, but at 6 a.m., he's not there. Can you imagine what must have gone through their minds? First of all, I want you to hear what his bio mom, Katie Proudfoot, says. Listen.
When I woke him up for school, he wasn't there. I took a second and walked through the house looking for him in case he'd gotten up and was trying to get breakfast or something, because he did that sometimes. About 3 minutes in, give or take, I was on the phone with my husband. I said, I can't find him. He said, what do you mean you can't find him? I said, he's not in the house.
Can't find him. Where is he? And in the last days, we learned that the official law enforcement search is actually scaling back. This as TikTokers and YouTubers are flooding the area, conducting their own searches. Listen to Eric Craddock, Chief Deputy, Sumner County Sheriff's.
Really wanted to come to the community and ask for your help. We need you to search your properties every day, morning and night. If there's a shed or a crawl space or up under your mobile home or a tarp that's in your yard, check it every morning and check it every night. Look for any details that something has been disturbed. If there's a shirt that was there today that wasn't there yesterday, notify us. You can really help us by searching your own property twice a day. Like I said, we're operating under the assumption that Sebastian walked off, and we really need your help to ensure that he is brought home safely.
We are trying to determine what happened when this young boy, an autistic young boy, seemingly walks out of his own home in the middle of the night, we think, barefoot. How did that happen? I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. Thank you for being with us here at Crime Stories and on SiriusXM 111. We've read a lot online. We've seen a lot of theories, a lot of speculation. But let's start with what we know to be true. Joining me right now, an all-star panel. But first, I'm going to go to two special guests joining us, Katie and Chris Proudfoot. This is Sebastian's the
biological mother and stepdad.
Mother and his stepfather.
And a lot of people online have been criticizing them and saying this and that, and they've been going on multiple YouTube pages and doing multiple, well, at least the stepdad has, and doing multiple interviews, and some people think something's off.
Who were in their home with Sebastian when he goes missing. To both of the Proudfoots, thank you for being
Amy, true. It looks like they're in the RV.
with us. I want to go straight back to when Sebastian goes missing. Miss Proudfoot, I understand that the day before, which would have been Sunday, if I've got the information correct, that you guys went out, you went to dinner, you went to somewhere, I believe you said BJ's, where he had a, quote, colossal popcorn. Then you
Yes,
came
ma'am.
home that night, and around 9 p.m., you tell Sebastian to go to bed. He says, okay, and goes to his room. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
That night.
Oh, that. Was it? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Who was that? Somebody else?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, Nancy. Okay, I'm
That
tripping.
night, I understand from previous statements you've made that you went to bed around midnight. Is that correct?
It is.
And to you, Mr. Proudfoot, Chris Proudfoot, did you also go to bed at midnight, or before or after?
No, ma'am. We went to bed around the same time because we were on the phone together.
And
He was not home.
please excuse any of my questions. I'm simply trying to find out more about that night. Do you two sleep in the same bedroom?
He wasn't actually in the home at all that weekend. Christopher
You were
wasn't.
not home.
No, ma'am.
Okay. So where were you, Mr. Proudfoot?
I was in Memphis, Tennessee.
How far away is that?
3 hours and 37 minutes from doorstep to doorstep.
And what were you doing in Memphis?
Working.
Where do you work?
I'm currently working, or was working, at the St. Jude Children's Hospital construction project.
Yes, I'm very familiar with St. Jude's. You said you were working there. Are you no longer working there?
Right now, that's up in the air.
What?
Well, you've been gone ever since Sebastian went missing, so I understand. When you are home, do you two sleep in the same bedroom?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey!
Is this a 3-bedroom home?
Yes, ma'am.
Where is your room as it relates to Sebastian's room?
It's on the opposite end of the house. The master bedroom's on one side, and the other 2 bedrooms are on the other side of the house.
Okay, so your master bedroom is on one side of the house and Sebastian's room is on the other side of the house. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, you have a 3rd bedroom that I believe you keep for your other daughter. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that Faith? Is your other daughter named Faith?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So where is Faith's bedroom as it relates to Sebastian's bedroom?
It's in the back side of the house. Sebastian's bedroom
So
is in the
it's-
front side of the house.
Okay. So his bedroom is away from Faith's bedroom and away from your master bedroom. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Is Sebastian's room on a top floor or a ground level?
We have a ranch style house. It's a 1.5 story, so everything's flat, and then you have the bonus room above the garage.
Okay. So his is on ground floor, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That morning, was there any sign of a break-in through a window, a front door, a back door, a sliding glass door, anything at all?
No, ma'am.
Okay. No sign of forced entry. Was anything taken from the home at all?
Not that we could find anything. We couldn't find anything missing.
I want to circle back to Sebastian's shoes regarding if anything was missing. Do you have a burglar alarm?
No, ma'am.
Do you have a Ring doorbell cam?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Have the 2 of you taken a polygraph?
I have.
I have not.
I don't know what takes so long to reply. Yes, no.
Would you be willing to take a polygraph?
I have.
It's like they're seeking approval from each other, trying to wait for what the other one says. Whatever.
I have not.
Would you be willing to?
I've offered and volunteered on many occasions to take a polygraph, and I was told directly by law enforcement because of my whereabouts, I did not need one.
I understand. Ms. Proudfoot, did you pass your polygraph?
I did.
Yes, flying colors.
Those questions out of the way. Was Faith in the home when
Delay,
Sebastian
okay.
went missing?
All right, we'll give it a delay. They're in a camper. Okay, probably parked outside McDonald's using the Wi-Fi. All right, give it that. All right, maybe a delay.
No, ma'am.
What's that?
Sebastian went. Was Faith in the home when Sebastian went missing?
No, ma'am.
Does anyone else have a key to your home beside your immediate family?
No.
No, ma'am.
That night, Miss Proudfoot, at midnight when you went to bed, what did you do until midnight?
I had been reading a chapter that I needed to, and I had been talking to my husband on the phone. I was falling asleep on him, so that's when he told me it was around midnight. He told me to go ahead and put the dogs up and go to bed, and that's what I did. I got up, put the dogs where they sleep, and then I myself went to bed.
Where do they sleep?
They have a big pen.
What's that?
A
pig
pen? Is it?
What?
Myself went to bed.
Where do they sleep?
They have a big pen.
A big pen?
A pen? Is it inside or outside?
Inside.
Inside. That reminds me of another question. Do you guys have a motion sensor light or lights on the outside of your house?
Yes, we do have lights on the outside of our house.
Did they activate that night?
They're not motion censored. We have lights.
Were they
but not
on that
motion
night?
censored.
No,
Okay.
ma'am.
Were they on that night? So the lights were out the whole night?
Yes, ma'am. We don't typically turn the floodlights on.
Were there any lights outside the house on at all?
Just my little solar lights that we have in the garden.
There's
Yep.
2 lights on the side of the house above the garage that are on at all times.
Oh, yeah, those are on.
Oh, there's a light above the garage. It's on at all times?
There's 2. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So those lights were on?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The reason I'm asking is because I heard you say earlier, Mr. Proudfoot, that your neighbors have been very, very forthcoming with their Ring camera info. And I was
Yes,
trying to determine if any lights were on, what, if anything, they may have caught. But I understand from your previous interviews that nothing of any evidentiary value was caught. And also, in another statement you gave, I understand that the video of the 2 flashlights, and I'm saying that with air quotes, that's not exactly what that was at all.
What was
We
that?
now don't believe that 2 flashlights were observed around your home. Is that correct?
Yes.
You're very correct.
Okay. Question regarding your vehicles. Ms. Proudfoot, what make and model do you drive?
I drive a Infinity SUV.
Year?
2017.
And, sir, what do you drive?
I drive a diesel truck, Chevrolet.
Year?
I don't remember off the top of my head. I think it's a 2021, I think.
So your Infinity SUV was parked in the garage or outside the garage that night, Ms. Proudfoot?
In the garage.
In the garage. And Mr. Proudfoot, your vehicle was on location in Memphis. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So there's only one car at the home. Is that right?
There was actually a work vehicle in the driveway at the time as well, but it hasn't moved. We can't give out that information because we don't have permission from
Why
our
not?
work.
Oh,
I don't understand that. What?
yeah. I don't understand that shit either. What?
About the make and model of the vehicle.
I have a work van that was also parked in the driveway.
Oh, it's classified, the make and model.
Why is that? If it's out in the driveway where people can see it, why is that privileged information?
We just don't have permission from her company to divulge that information.
Have you asked?
No, ma'am, we have not. Nobody
Okay. So the make and model of the vehicle is classified. All right.
has asked us
So
that
that
question,
was-
to be honest with you.
Okay.
Okay, so you have a work van. Question to you, Miss Proudfoot, what do you do for a living?
I am an installation technician.
That night, was the work van blocking your driveway? Could someone go in and out of your driveway?
The van is parked at the back of my driveway, so someone can pull in, yes.
Got it. Do you park your Infiniti SUV in the garage or outside the garage?
In the garage.
In the garage. Do you have an automatic garage door?
Hold on, give me a
With
second.
the
Bear with me.
clicker.
Right. Do you leave that up or down at night?
Down.
Could anybody lift it up? Like, is there an on and off button outside, or do you have to know a code or have the clicker to open it?
You'd have to know the code or have the clicker.
Does Sebastian know the code?
Not to the garage door, but to the man doors.
Not to the garage door, but to the house doors?
The regular door, yes.
So is there a code to get in your home, or do you use a regular key?
There's a code.
Sound like a robot, some like MK Ultra shit. All right, hold on.
And he knows that code.
Yes, ma'am.
Question, I'm just trying to figure out how he would have gotten out, or if somebody came into the home. Could they have gotten through the garage door? No, unless they know the code or had the clicker, which they did not. Do you lock your doors at night?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, they changed the view.
Could he have left on his own through those doors?
He could, yes, ma'am.
But I heard in another interview where Mr. Proudfoot said he was not a, quote, wanderer. He didn't wander around. He had never left the home before on his own. Is that right?
Correct. We haven't had issues with him running or taking off in the past.
Okay, let me ask you a couple of questions regarding the doors. Do you have any home surveillance, anything at all that would have given us an idea or a clue if the door had been opened or not, or a window?
Not directly from our house.
Well, then from where?
That's what we were hoping that neighborhood ring cameras and may have picked something up.
Gotcha. I want to go back to that night. You said you were up till midnight. You were reading something. What were you reading?
A chapter for school.
A chapter for school. Are you in school?
I was, yes, ma'am. I've since dropped my classes for the time.
What are you studying?
Business administration.
Gotcha. Where do you go to school?
DeVry.
This is so weird. I don't know. Is anybody else?
So that night you go to bed at midnight after you've been talking to Mr. Proudfoot on the phone. You put the dogs away in a cage, a crate, inside the home, and you go to bed. Did you check on Sebastian at that time?
I did not.
Okay. Do you normally?
Not typically. since he's gotten older, I've not been checking on him as frequently throughout the night because normally he's good to go in his room once he goes to bed.
Earlier, you had stated you heard a noise in his room before you went to bed. What time was that?
Around 10 o'clock.
10 p.m. What did it sound like?
Just a thud.
A thud. You stated that you said, look, I don't care what you're doing in there, go to bed. Is that right?
I was on the couch, which is near his room, and I said, Bubba, did you fall out of the bed? And he said, no, ma'am. And I said, well, whatever you're doing in there, knock it off and go to sleep.
So you heard his voice at 10 p.m.?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any idea what the sound actually was?
I do not, no.
If he were to go out his window, what would he step on?
Mulch and bushes.
Did you say mulch or mush?
Mulch.
Mulch.
Mulch. Okay. Got it. Has he ever gone out the window before?
No, ma'am.
Is his room on the front of the house or the back of the house?
Front.
Front. Do any of your neighbors' ring cams point toward your house? Could they pick that up?
They do, but it's so dark that they can only see it. After it gets so dark at night, they can only see certain things where there's light.
I thought there were the two lights on.
On the opposite side of the house.
Okay. Can we talk about Sebastian's shoes? Why are you convinced Sebastian left without shoes on? Or are you?
Well, the reason that came about is because all of his shoes are accounted for inside the house still.
Are you positive?
I'm positive.
How do you know what clothes he was wearing?
The clothes that we described are the ones I saw him in when he went to bed.
That morning, you woke up at 6 o'clock. Is that the normal time you wake up?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a heavy sleeper?
Off and on.
Do you take any medication at night that would make you sleep?
No, ma'am.
Well, no medication, at least at night. Some people say maybe she on some medication or something, but she said nothing.
But you heard nothing.
I did not, no.
So we know he is alive and well at 10 p.m. At 6 a.m. he's gone. You say he's never left before. Is that right?
Correct. He's never run off before.
And could I confirm, where was his bio dad at the time he went missing?
I believe he was at work in Nashville.
Had there been any family argument or altercation prior to him going missing?
No, ma'am.
And Mr. Proudfoot, when did you leave town?
Early February.
So you had been gone for days before he went missing. Is that correct?
Correct, ma'am.
Had you visited home since you left?
You said from when I initially left?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. I came home February 26th, the morning I was told that he was missing.
From the time that you left for the job in Memphis to February 26th, did you visit the home?
Yes, ma'am.
When?
I was home. I can't give exact dates. Law enforcement has told me not to provide exact dates, but I had been home multiple times prior to February. And then I left early February and then didn't come back till February 26th, the morning he was missing.
So you were not home from the time you left early February till Feb 26. Is that right?
Correct, ma'am.
Where were you living in Memphis?
I have an RV trailer that I stay in at an RV park.
RV park. Okay. following back up on that morning, you search the home, Miss Proudfoot. Then you get in your vehicle and you start searching. Did Sebastian know how to drive?
No, ma'am.
Was your car in the same location when you woke up that morning as it was the night before?
Yes, ma'am.
Has your car been searched by police?
Multiple times. Yes, ma'am.
Have scent dogs looked at your car?
Yes, ma'am.
So your car's in the same place. You get in the car, you start looking in the neighborhood for him. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Then you call Mr. Proudfoot, right?
I believe I was already on the phone with him at that point.
Okay. Question. Who called 911?
I did.
You did.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
time?
Without looking at a call log, I can't give you the exact time, but on or about 6:20.
And had you guys been talking on the phone before 6 a.m. or did you initially call Mr. Proudfoot at the time you realized Sebastian was gone?
I called him when I realized Sebastian was gone.
Have you guys been out looking for Sebastian?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Really?
We were given information that you guys have left the home. Is that true?
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
I'm going back to work.
You're going back to work. What about you, Miss Proudfoot?
Why you let home?
No, I'm not going back to work. Not yet, at least.
Did you leave the home also, Miss Proudfoot?
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
To accompany my husband going back to work, and then I'm coming back.
Okay, when will you be back? Do you know yet?
No, not yet.
Yeah, we want to talk to you. When you coming back? I'm just kidding.
Are you concerned about being away while the search is ongoing?
Absolutely, I am.
Then why are you going?
Nancy!
Because my son could be anywhere, and we're looking everywhere and anywhere.
I've got a question for you.
Yes,
I want
ma'am.
to find out about Mr. Proudfoot hitting Sebastian with a belt.
Let's go,
happened?
baby!
That was actually several years ago, and it
To
was
Mr. Proudfoot. To Mr. Proudfoot. To Mr.
Yeah.
Proudfoot.
Oh, shit.
Mr. Proudfoot, what happened?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood. I thought you would ask
Got off
me.
guard. Oh,
Okay.
excuse me.
Sebastian had gotten in trouble. He got caught lying, and I had asked him. I said, "Hey, you got to have a punishment for this." He says, "Yes, sir." And I said, "Okay."
So you
So
beat
I
your stepson with a belt.
gave him a swat with a belt on his buttocks on the outside of his clothes. One swat.
Oh, just one swat. All right. Because I've heard people talking about this because he went on a live stream talking about this. I can imagine. I hope I'm never in that situation. Step parent disciplining your child. Mama says she won't do it, so she gonna let another man do it. And so he's the one. So he said one swat.
What
I honestly don't know if I believe that. One swat and that's it? I don't know, but that's what he claims. All right.
did he lie about?
Honestly, I don't remember at the time, but it was probably something dealing with school because that's majority where his issues lie.
Did he have other issues at school?
Some behavioral stuff, but nothing too crazy.
What kind of behavioral stuff?
He has a hard time. He's awkwardly socially blending in with students, so it's a little. He's trying to figure out how to do it, but respecting people's space, he gets a little too close. And then kids don't really accept that too much, so it kind of causes an issue. But he'll not stop, and he continues on. So then it causes an issue, and instead of being honest about it, he'll lie like, "No, I didn't." Okay, Sebastian.
Or lying about doing
Was
what?
that the first time? Was that the first time you had ever hit him with a belt?
Yes, ma'am. The one and only time, actually.
One and only time.
When was this?
Years ago, ma'am.
Any idea how many? 3, 10, 1?
It probably at least 3 years ago.
I don't understand how that turned into a CPS or Child Protective Services complaint. How were they alerted that you hit him with a belt?
That did not turn into a CPS service call.
There were other CPS reports, right? Were they regarding your other child?
There is one in regards
Okay, Nancy. Whoa. Mm-hmm.
to my daughter that I know of out in New Mexico with my ex-wife and myself.
What happened?
What happened?
At the time, my ex-wife had fled to New Mexico with my daughter.
Look at Nancy's face. Oh my God. You see that face? Damn. Okay.
At the time, my ex-wife had fled to New Mexico with my daughter. We were going through a custody and a divorce case at that time. And at the time, when I'd call and try to check in on my daughter, I could never reach my ex-wife at that time. So a welfare check was requested. Law enforcement told me to call CPS if I had concerns. So I called CPS. Law enforcement did make a welfare call, and that was it.
Then how does that turn into a CPS complaint against you?
I have no idea, ma'am. There's a lot of misinformation out there right now.
You know how. Don't give me that bullshit. You don't know how.
I have no idea, ma'am. There's a lot of misinformation out there right now in regards to my New Mexico case that actually has no relevance to the Sebastian case.
Then was there even a CPS complaint against you in New Mexico?
Not that I am aware of. And my attorney and myself are well educated on my case, and there's nothing that we know of.
Was there a TRO taken out against you regarding
Yes, ma'am.
your daughter?
Not a TRO, but a TPO.
A temporary protective order. Why was that taken out?
So in regards to that case, my ex-wife had a TPO put against her in Tennessee at the time. When we went to court, that got dissolved. I was ordered to hand my daughter back over to my ex-wife at the time. She gets in a truck. She fleds to New Mexico. 2 days later, she files one in retaliation.
Is it still in place?
No, ma'am. That was dropped within, I think, 2 weeks of it being put in place.
I've got a question about the belt.
Sorry, I'm muted. Tay-Tay's mom, if you are watching, email me at ickedmail@gmail.com. You said you've been taking notes on the different interviews. Email me at ickedmail@gmail.com if you want to call in. You can tell me.
Belt incident. You're telling me that was the only time that you ever hit Sebastian with a belt?
Yes, ma'am.
I just have a hard time believing that. You're either into that or you're not into that. Unless you did it and you feel bad.
And you're also telling me that did not make it to CPS?
No, ma'am, that did not.
Yo, look on her face. Wow.
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
Regarding Faith's furniture.
Yes,
A few
ma'am.
days after Sebastian goes missing, did you replace furniture in Faith's room?
No, ma'am, I have not replaced any furniture in my daughter's room.
Is there any new furniture in the home?
Yes, ma'am, there's a bed that was given to me and it's currently in my garage.
Has anything been taken out of the home?
No, ma'am.
I was curious about a statement that Miss Proudfoot made earlier that canine dogs hit on the barn around the home and near a retention pond. Did that happen?
I'm not sure about the barn, but the retention pond, yes.
Because law enforcement says the dogs did not hit. But Miss
There's
Proudfoot says they did hit around the retention pond.
So there's been a lot of miscommunication in regards to what is and what is not. To help clear that up, law enforcement has actually spoken directly with me, showed me a few things. What I can tell you is from day one, there was 5 dogs that started the scent for the search. And then after that, from the next 8 days out from that, there have been dogs from all over the country that have come in and done searches and had scent hits in various locations. But I would say a certain percentage of them tend to go toward the same spot, which would have been a retention pond.
So the law enforcement dogs did not hit on the retention pond. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying they did. There was at least 3 that I know for a fact that did hit on the retention pond.
And the pond has been drained, correct? And there was nothing there.
Yes, ma'am. They have walked it, drained it, and there's nothing. The retention pond was only knee deep anyways.
On one occasion, Mr. Proudfoot, you stated that you and Mrs. Proudfoot have been, quote, vetted and cleared of foul play. That was stated on Chronicles of Olivia. Is that
She got mentioned.
true? What do you mean by that?
Yes. So after working with law enforcement of all agencies, they have actually told us that there is no foul play, no nefarious issues. We've been cleared of all wrongdoing. We are working extremely cooperative with all law enforcement agencies at any point in time that they've called, come to the house, anything.
The thing is, Nick Barris had said that they haven't been cleared of anything. They have been cooperative, but like police haven't said all these people are cleared or whoever's cleared.
Was Sebastian angry or upset before he disappeared?
No, ma'am.
Not to my knowledge.
What is your theory about where is Sebastian?
I wish I knew where he was, to be honest.
Your theory.
I think it's possible that someone has my son.
Why?
Because I feel like if he had been close to the house or had walked off, that we would found him by now with as many people as we had searching.
Have you checked his social media?
He doesn't have social media.
Have you checked his phone?
His phone has been thoroughly checked, yes, ma'am.
Have you handed your phones to police, both of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, we have.
Has police searched all of your devices, your laptop, your iPad, everything?
Everything. Yes, ma'am.
Other than you, Miss Proudfoot, who is the last person that saw or heard Sebastian alive the Sunday before he went missing?
2 of his aunts, a cousin, and the staff where we had dinner.
And that was at BJ's the night before or the bowling alley?
So BJ's, and then we went to the bowling alley, and then after the bowling alley, we went to dinner before coming home.
I want to follow up again on the dogs hitting. Earlier, Ms. Proudfoot had stated the dogs hit around the house, the barn, and at the retention pond. Is that correct?
I don't know about the barn, but I do know that they did track to the pond. Yes.
Did the dogs also hit around the house?
Yes, ma'am.
On the outside of the house?
Yes, ma'am.
Were they scent dogs or cadaver dogs?
They brought in both cadaver and tracking dogs.
Which dog hit, a cadaver dog or a scent dog?
Scent dog.
It's all been scent dogs that have hit. The cadaver dogs have not hit on anything that we know of.
What do you believe Sebastian was wearing when he disappeared? And would that have been what he slept in?
Yes. So the clothes, the black sweatpants with the white stripes and the long sleeve black shirt, that is what he went to bed in. And the reason that I believe he was still wearing those clothes is because when we searched, I did not find those clothes in the house. So I have to assume that that's what he was still wearing.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Did you say that's what he wore when he went to bed?
Yes, ma'am.
Joining us right now, in addition to Katie Proudfoot and Chris Proudfoot, the bio mom and stepdad of Sebastian, an all-star panel. First to Brian Trasher joining us, Vice President of the Cajun Navy, who has joined the search. Brian, thank you for being with us. Who asked you to join the search?
Well, we had deployed a team up to Nashville, Tennessee last week in response to the missing college student, Riley Strain. And we stayed up there until he was found. While we were in the area, we had a lot of people reaching out to us on social media saying that there was a young boy who had been missing for several weeks that was only about 20 miles away from where we were. So we talked to a few people, got some information, and decided to deploy part of our team that was already up there to Sumter County to investigate and see what we could do to help out.
You went on your own. Were you asked to join?
We were asked to join. I'm not sure specifically who some of our people talk to, but we get requests all the time, and we'll reach out. We'll try to get either a family member or a close friend of the family, just so we know we're talking to people connected to the family. And somebody had reached out and asked us to join since we already had assets so close to Sumter County.
Tell me what you have been doing, Brian Trasher. Everyone with me, the VP of the Cajun Navy, who has...
saying P. Diddy left the States, allegedly. Oh, no, P. Diddy, where you go, man? Oh, shit. We were just covering this story on the second page. Make sure, there's a lot of people that still don't know about my second page, apparently, on the main page. Ikidmel space CC. Big story we're covering today. American rapper Diddy has reportedly left the United States on his private jet. Damn. Near Los Angeles. The private jet has been tracked to the Caribbean islands after raids on Diddy's residences. I guess he might land over there and then maybe take some other plane that's not tracked. It's currently unknown whether Diddy is actually on the plane or not. Damn. Diddy. Making moves. Wow.
Joined in the search. You can find them at CajunNavyRelief.com. Brian, tell me what you guys have been doing.
Just real, we're the United Cajun Navy. We're the original group that everybody hears about. There's other groups that use the Cajun Navy name to try to fundraise off of our efforts. Cajun Navy Relief is not affiliated with us at all. We are www.unitedcajunnavy.org. We're the original. We're the real ones.
Again, what exactly have you been doing on the search?
So we've had our own canine team who is already participating in the search for Riley Strain up there searching around. We've talked with the lead investigator with Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, Agent Simmons. We've talked a lot with him and trying to coordinate efforts because we always try to coordinate with law enforcement to make sure we're not getting in the way, duplicating efforts, or putting out any.
You know what,
conflicting
Mr.
information.
Trasher, let me just cut the chase here. Isn't it true that this weekend, pursuant to your search, that cadaver dogs hit in an area that had been closed off
Yes,
because
girl.
of a prior hurricane, and it is on federal property? Bones and other items were found at that time. I found that very odd, as it would relate to Sebastian. Even if it was Sebastian, his body would not have been skeletonized at this time. Can you tell me now that what was found over the weekend is not connected to Sebastian? Yes, no.
No.
Not
No,
connected to Sebastian.
That hit was, that's correct. That hit was not connected to Sebastian.
Okay. Joining me also, in addition to Brian Trasher, who has been leading the Cajun Navy in its search for Sebastian. Hold on, Brian. Other than those hits, have there been any other dog hits in and around the home or elsewhere?
Thank you, Casey.
Not from our K-9 team.
I'm very concerned, Brian, as you can imagine, because LA law enforcement has stated there were no canine hits outside the home, which I find very, very disturbing. Because if he had gone outside, particularly barefoot, there would definitely have been a scent trail. Now, we're hearing from the Proudfoots that there was a hit around that retention pond. How far is that pond from your home, Mr. Proudfoot?
Less than probably half a mile if you walk the whole path.
Is it through wooded area? Would he have had to walk through the woods to get there?
No, ma'am. You can actually walk either the main road or the subdivision. So the construction site is a subdivision, new addition that's being built, and they have a road that's going to be tied into our subdivision. So you could actually walk up that way, or you could walk to the main road and walk into it.
Hey,
Did
Diddy.
Sebastian ever sleepwalk?
No, ma'am.
So he would have had to leave the house undetected by Katie and walk all the way to that retention pond. Did the dogs follow the trail a half a mile?
Yes, ma'am.
They followed the trail all the way to that retention pond?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
That's very curious, as they are saying the dogs didn't pick anything up. Back to you, Brian Trasher. Did you guys search anywhere other than that federal property where the false positive was? Yes, no?
No.
Joining me is Courtney Lasky, high-profile behavior analyst, autism expert, chief clinical officer with Little Starts Therapy. Courtney, thank you for being with us. At this juncture, we know Sebastian to be most likely with people he doesn't know, if in fact he is still alive. How would that affect a young boy with autism?
It would affect him greatly. Based on the diagnosis of autism, we know that they typically have deficits with communication, social skills, and they display some rigid and repetitive behaviors. If, in fact, he is with someone else who does not know him well, that would be entirely out of his routine. He could be engaging in behaviors that he hasn't engaged in before. He could be looking for an escape. He could be looking to get out of those aversive situations. We know that not every autistic individual will wander, but those who do wander, 36%, it's to get out of an aversive situation. It's to get away from something that's overwhelming or overstimulating to them.
Ms. Proudfoot, does he know your phone number? Can he call you if he could get access to a phone?
We have gone over my phone number. I don't know that in a high stress time he would remember it, but yes, I have taught him my phone number.
Was he ever allowed to go visit friends' homes?
He didn't get invited, but had he been, yes, we have had play dates in the past.
Would he go there on foot?
No, ma'am.
Joining me now is Lauren Conlon, investigative journalist, host of the Outlier podcast, host of Corruption, What Happened to Grant Solomon, and you can find her at laurenconlon.com. Lauren, thank you so much for being with us. what can you tell me about that stretch of road, if anything, between Sebastian's home and that retention pond?
Well, look, Nancy, I mean, I think like everything else about this case, it is very confusing because the public hasn't heard much from the police. We haven't heard much from the Proudfoots, obviously, when it comes to that, or Seth Rogers. And now I'm learning a lot here as I hear Chris Proudfoot say, okay, we can't speak about this because of law enforcement. And now with the Cajun Navy coming in, I think a lot of us are very excited that they are going to basically canvass this road. And they are actually telling civilians to hang back. Nobody needs to search this anymore. You need to stop. You need to stop helping and let us work with law enforcement and take over. Now, I called the Sumner County Sheriff's Office yesterday because of all the misinformation going around. And I gotta be honest with you, they didn't even know what was going on with this road, with the recreation search. They were either very elusive or they were very confused. But either way, it's very concerning because the people, as well as myself, I don't live in Tennessee. I cover a lot of Tennessee. We are very concerned for Sebastian. We are very concerned. And so,
okay, so let me just stop you right there, Ms. Conlon. Ms. Conlon, everyone is concerned, but let me remind everyone that law enforcement is under no duty at all to tell us or anybody else, including the Proudfoots, anything. They are not representing the Proudfoots. They are representing justice, and they will do what they have to do. The fact that they're not giving us a blow by blow is their business. Does it mean they're stymied? I don't know. Does it mean they know more than we think they do? I don't know the answer to that. But just because they're not releasing an ongoing investigative file is not a concern to me. At this juncture, I am collecting facts in the best way I know how. Now, regarding that route from the Proudfoot home to the retention pond, is it your understanding, Lauren Conlon, that there were no hits by scent or cadaver dogs along that route?
correct, Nancy. It is my understanding there were no hits from the dogs.
It is very confusing. It's confusing. You know, sometimes, Lauren, when we try to put together a puzzle, but we're missing a few pieces and we don't know what piece we're missing, you can't put the puzzle together. We're missing things from this puzzle. And right now, I'm on a fact-finding mission. I am pointing the finger at no one because I want to find Sebastian. I want to go to Dr. Jory Crossan joining me. And guys, again, please, Proudfoots, Trasher, Lasky, Conlon, jump in if you have a thought or you want to contradict, because a lot of this is elusive. We don't know everything. To you, Jory Crossan, joining us, former law enforcement, now faculty, St. Leo University, very well-known psychologist and author of Operation SOS. You can find him at drjory.com. Dr. Jory, thank you for being with us. Many people have made much of the fact that when interviewed, the Proudfoots do not look at the camera, they look away, they don't cry, and they don't seem upset. Now, that may or may not mean anything.
What y'all think about the Proudfoots?
People can be very upset, crying, screaming, cursing. They may show no emotion at all. They may be numb by the time interviews are happening. I'm very
Wait, and she's doing this while the Proudfoots are still on the panel? Damn, Nancy.
different. When I talk about my fiance's murder or I talk about my dad's death, I still cry, even when I swear I'm not going to. But everyone reacts differently. I'm going to throw this directly to Mr. and Mrs. Proudfoot. Much has been made. I'll ask you. You very often look away, don't look at who's asking you questions, show no emotion. Much has been made of that. And I'd like to hear your response. I'm not judging one way or the other. I'd like to hear your response.
Yes, I'm here.
To the fact of not looking
Nothing
at the
is
camera all
wrong.
the time is because
That's
picture of my
normal.
son is sitting beside me, and I'm looking at him. As far as the crying thing, I have been crying off and on nonstop for a month.
Many people have asked me, why did Miss Proudfoot not call 911 immediately? And here's your chance to answer that.
Because by the time I realized my son was missing and I called my husband, at that point I was hysterical. I was at the point where I couldn't even form words anymore, and my husband is the one who remained calm enough to call them.
And to be honest with you, Miss Grace, the way we live outside of city limits, so you don't call 911 because you get routed to a dispatching hub who asks what's your location, and then they route you to another dispatcher to talk to give this story. I cut off.
I understand. So if your child's missing because of the different routing issues, well, yeah, maybe we'll think about calling 911 or whatever.
All of that out, and I called straight to the sheriff's department because they have jurisdiction of where we live. So
he's saying call directly. Okay.
Sorry that I decided to bypass a few steps and go straight to the source.
So he's apologizing now to you guys.
Where they responded within 10 minutes of the phone call being made.
Miss Proudfoot, that evening, were you drinking?
No, ma'am.
Had you used any type of drug at all, even OTC, over the counter?
No, ma'am.
And you had no argument with Sebastian that night?
No, ma'am.
You stated you put the dogs away into a crate before you went to bed. Is the crate located near the exit, near a door?
No, ma'am.
Would the dogs have barked if there had been an intruder or if Sebastian had left?
The dogs don't typically bark at me and Sebastian because they're used to us. Even if we get up, we come around, they don't typically bark. Strangers, they do tend to bark, at least for a minute or two to get attention. But no, ma'am, they don't typically bark at Sebastian and myself or Christopher.
What kind of dogs are they?
Morkies.
Question, where is their crate located?
In the area near my sunroom.
Over by the kitchen.
Your son's, okay, hold on. Is it outside your son's room?
No, ma'am, not
Sunroom.
Sebastian's room. Son, yeah, yes, ma'am.
The sunroom, and that's not near the door?
No, ma'am.
Not near the front door.
It's near my back door, but not any of the other doors.
Yes, from what I've seen the layout of the home, it is near the back door, and they would have heard someone coming in and out that back door, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
No barking. Do you have a chime or anything on your doors that would alert you to the door opening?
No, ma'am.
Miss Grace, could I jump in for something?
Yes, please. And I want to follow up with a question regarding Miss Proudfoot's polygraph. But please, Lauren, jump in. Everybody on the panel, now is the time to ask the Proudfoots any question that may shed light on what has happened to Sebastian. We are not in a judging arena. We are in a fact-finding arena. We can then assimilate the facts and make deductions. Please jump in. Lauren Conlon is joining me. You can find her at Lauren Emily Conlon. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. And now this might be for Brian as well. Yesterday, when the dogs hit and everybody's going crazy, YouTubers, internet, TikTokers.
Excuse me? What is that?
And everybody's going crazy, YouTubers, internet, TikTokers. And we figure out it's not Sebastian, and police are not involved. The TBI is not involved. Did you call the Proudfoots and let them know that this was not Sebastian? Did you tell them ahead of time that you were searching these areas? Did they know what you were doing, or was this specifically just through Seth Rogers?
What you trying to do? Throw Seth under the bus?
Yeah, so
What?
Seth Rogers is Sebastian's biological father, correct?
Here we go. Good question.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yes.
he was there, and as Ms. Grace alluded to earlier, it would not have been typical or possibly even probable that he could have skeletonized after only a few weeks. So I'm not sure about the Proudfoots, but his father definitely did know. I also wanted to echo what Miss Nancy said earlier about the police. One of the reasons we got called in, there was a lot of social media personalities reaching out to us, kind of complaining that they didn't feel like the police were doing enough. But really, it's just what Miss Nancy said. It's that they're not under obligation to give daily or every other day updates. They are doing an investigation. We have been in very close contact with TBI, and I can tell everybody with 100% certainty they are on top of it. They are not letting their foot off the gas at all on the search for Sebastian or trying to find out what happened to him. The YouTubers and TikTokers that do live stream probably do the most harm. We appreciate the attention.
What? No, he did. Oh, God. He said we probably do the most harm.
Or trying to find out what happened to him. The YouTubers and TikTokers that do live stream probably do the most harm. We appreciate the attention that they bring to things, but when you do a live stream, you don't have any control over what gets seen by potentially the entire world. So we would, we can't tell people what not to do. They have free speech. It's their own accounts they're using. Not helpful to do live streams during searches like that. If you want to do it.
Oh, he's talking. Okay. I misconstrued what he said. I'm sorry. I don't like to eat when I'm streaming, but I've been on here all day. So at some point I gotta eat or else I'm gonna get crazy. He's talking about people literally at the searches live streaming. Okay. I thought he was saying like us just kicking back, talking about the story. He's talking about literal at the searches live streaming.
We can't tell people what not to do. They have free speech. It's their own accounts they're using. Not helpful to do live streams during searches like that. If you want to do it, do a video that you could potentially edit later so that we cut down on the amount of misinformation. That's why social media is not necessarily your house. We go in and do search and rescue. You have to trust the process like we do. We trust law enforcement is going to have this wrapped up probably very soon.
Brian, however, I want to make sure that you are not encouraging citizen sleuths to stop looking, because I've had many cases where we put out the warning and they actually spot a missing person. I mean, I only have to point to Gabby Petito, whose remains were found in dispersed camping way out west by a citizen who had heard about the case. So, sometimes their information is wrong, but there is no way in HELL that I would ask them to stop. And I know that's not where you're headed. Yeah.
No, we don't want them to stop. Matter of fact, it was two citizen sleuths that found Riley Strain's bank card out by the bank of the Cumberland River in Nashville. So, like I said, they do provide a service. My only suggestion was maybe not doing live stream, maybe just video, and then you can edit and post later. Just a suggestion.
Hey guys, I don't want to see anything edited. I want to see the whole thing. No edits, no airbrushing, the real deal. But that's just me. I want to go back to Katie Proudfoot. This is Sebastian's biological mother, Miss Proudfoot. What questions were you asked during your polygraph?
I was asked if I knew where my son was. I was asked if I hurt him. I was asked if I had hurt someone, among a few other questions.
And Mr. Proudfoot, you have volunteered to take a poly?
Yes, ma'am.
If I were to set up a poly for you, would you take it?
Name the place and time, ma'am. I'll be there.
Oh.
And you're headed back to Memphis, right?
Maybe we should do that, because so many people are accusing him online. Let's do it.
Right now, are you in your RV right now?
I am in my RV. We are not disclosing our current location just because of safety reasons, due to the YouTubers, the Facebookers out there that have sent some very heinous, threatening information and things of that nature, threatening to be outside of our house.
Wow.
all kinds of nasty.
I mean, honestly, that's not surprising because I have seen clips and pictures online of people outside of their houses. That is true. People have been out there. That's true.
Things, so we're not disclosing our location at this time,
Unbelievable.
unless you're law
Miss
enforcement.
Proudfoot, is
or
that
you need to
one
know.
of the reasons you left the home?
One of them, yes, ma'am.
Question to you guys. When police came in and processed your home, did they look with, for instance, luminol? Did they check? What did they
good
do
question.
when they searched your home?
They thoroughly searched my home with many different things. They removed some things for the dogs to hold the scent, and for Sebastian's DNA. I know that they used thermal
night imagery.
night vision, thank you. And I don't know exactly all of the tools that they used, but I do know that multiple different searches were done on my home by many different people, detectives, sheriffs, and a few others.
Yeah,
Even
I'm
the
not
dogs.
I wouldn't swear that the forensics folks showed up or not, because there were so many folks in and out of the house that it was just, hi, I'm so and so with law enforcement. I'm so and so with law enforcement. Okay.
Every time they've said we need to look, or please do.
Does Sebastian have a hardwood floor or a carpeted floor?
In his bedroom,
Carpet.
Yes. Carpeting.
Carpet.
Did they remove any carpeting?
No, ma'am.
Do you feel confident they searched his bathroom?
They did.
Yes, ma'am, they did.
When you state that they removed items for the scent dogs, what did they take?
Clothing, a blanket that he used like every day, and a few other items of his, toiletries, like his brush.
Lauren Collin joining us, investigative journalist. Lauren, again, thank you for being with us. And earlier you were hearing sound from WSMV4. I understand you have another question?
Oh, I mean, I guess I didn't quite get the clarity I wanted, in the sense that, did the Proudfoots know that this search was going on with the Cajun Navy? Were they being called? Were you guys being alerted about this? Did you hear from a YouTuber that they found something, that the the search dog started jumping? Or, were you just kind of blind to all of this? Just, over in your corner doing your search?
No, ma'am. So here, to set that record straight and help the United Cajun Navy. So somebody's got a picture out there saying that we are enjoying a dinner, when we're actually out there, got flyers at a dinner table because we need to eat.
How dare y'all eat? But yeah, I did see that picture online about them out eating dinner.
When we're actually out there, somebody's got a picture out there saying that we are enjoying a dinner, when we're actually out there, got flyers at a dinner table because we need to eat. My wife was on the phone with the Cajun Navy. That's how the Cajun Navy was brought in. And we talked to the president of the United Cajun Navy. He put us in touch with their team that was here locally in Nashville. Then that young lady reached back out to us, gave us some more information. We gave her some more details. Then they said they would start a search, but we also had them get in direct contact with the TBI agent, as well as Sumter County's Sheriff's Department. We provided all that information. They reached out to them, got some information. They pushed outside of the areas that had been searched already, conducted a search. Somehow or another, they linked up with the bio father, who supposedly got a tip from somewhere. Whether or not it was credible or not, we don't know. But it led them to searching on federal property without permission.
Oh, man, come
which
on.
is where we have been informed at some point that there was allegedly a hit on something, but turned out to be nothing, and they were...
Okay. So stepdad, he's pissed. A lot of people have been looking at this guy. Again, I haven't watched really the interviews that he's done on the other channels, but he's done interviews on the other channels. And the vibe that I've gotten online, People have said it's like his story keeps changing. I haven't sat down and watched it all. I did hear about like the corporal punishment. I haven't listened to it, but I heard people talk about it. And so now he feels some kind of way. Maybe he's coming back. Maybe he's snapping back. This is his way to fire back. You know, the biological father, which I really believe the bio dad has the best intentions. I think he's out there searching, and somebody set the tip, and that's how tips work. A lot of them probably not going to lead to nothing until it actually leads to something. You just don't know. But he's saying, y'all went to this place, bio dad got some tip, y'all did something illegal and trespass, snitching, and came up with nothing. But I'm not knocking those people though, because you really have to until you get something, you're just gonna try to everything,
Pushed outside of the areas that had been searched already.
Oh God!
Conducted a search. Somehow or another, they linked up with the bio father, who supposedly got a tip from somewhere. Whether or not it was credible or not, we don't know. But it led them to searching on federal property without permission, which is where we have been informed at some point that there was allegedly a hit on something, but it turned out to be nothing, and they were asked to leave the property immediately or the cops were going to be called because it was trespassing based off of a tip that the bio father received.
Yeah, to Brian Trasher, VP of Cajun Navy, let's clear it.
I don't know. I feel like you're slamming them a little bit. You kind of throw them under the bus without throwing them under the bus, in a way.
Up. Isn't it true? This is on federal property that had been closed off. It was a hurricane site earlier. It was also, yes, thank you. And it was also near railroad tracks, and some homeless people had been living there, and apparently one of them had died, and we believe that is what the dogs were hitting on. Is that correct?
Yeah, all the above is correct, and we did not gain access to the property. It had already been open when we got there. I'm not sure how entry was gained, but yeah, everything above it that you just said was correct.
Guys, the search for Sebastian goes on. If you have information, if you know or think you know anything about this beautiful, young, autistic boy, please call TBI, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, 800-TBI, FIND, T Tennessee, B Bureau, I, Investigative, TBI, FIND, 1-800-TBI, FIND. That's 800-824-3463. Please join us in the search for Sebastian and lift up your prayers. This boy will be found.
Okay. Tay, I'm going to reply to you with a phone number. I just replied to you. Call in and tell me. You say you've been taking notes. You've been watching the story, the interviews. Oh, you said, okay, I got your number. You said I can call you. I'll call you. Tell me your thoughts. What am I missing? What are we, you call right now. Let's see.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
No. Right, call me then, Tay. Tay. I just emailed you the number. You can call me. Call me. Or I can use the other service too, actually, to call you if it doesn't work. I do that. Bro, I don't know how today turned into an all-day thing. What in the hell? Go, Nancy. What the hell? DT, are you riding? All right, I'm gonna call the call-in number and then I'll call you. Let's try that. Okay.
Call-in studio web interface.
Okay, I'm gonna call you. I'm coming for you. Make outbound call. Plugging in your number now. TNT, are you riding? I want to know what you think. What's been going on? Oh.
Thank you for calling Call-in Studios host and call screener line. Please enter your show or meet.
Oh, I didn't save the phone number. I copy pasted. Okay, let me try again. Ay. Up on call. Okay, there we go. Try that. Come on, Tay. Hi.
Hi, Mel.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, but you know what? This story is crazy. This is worse than Letitia Stout.
Oh,
and I'm going to tell you why. In the beginning of this interview with Nancy, he said he was in Memphis and called 911. When you call 911 and you're not in your local area, you're going to get whatever area you're in to 911. Am I correct?
Yes, but
later he said he bypassed 911 and called the sheriff's office.
He said that because of the whole routing thing. You can go get routed to India. Apparently now in some counties, I guess they sent the jobs out to another country and stuff, so they'll answer your 911 call in India, and then you got to hope somebody will save your life. The cops will respond. So I guess to avoid that, he called the sheriff's office directly, I think.
Right, but why would you say in all the other interviews that you called 911 from Memphis?
Oh, did? Oh.
Yes. Second, he has posted everywhere on Facebook that he was home. He had left 3 hours prior to that little boy coming up missing, and now all of a sudden he's 3 hours and 37 minutes away making this call. His story is not adding up, if you see what I'm saying. He's also posted, and I'm going to bring this to your attention because I read it, and I made sure I read it right. He posted that they did get new furniture for his daughter's room, and they switched it out. Now, all of a sudden, he has his bed that was given to him in a garage. So that's there, right there. Has got me thinking. Okay, what was wrong with that bed that you switched it out? What was wrong with that furniture? Do you see where I'm going with this?
I'm not so sure. Let me look at your email too.
Yeah, because I put all my notes in an email and I just forwarded it to you. Everything I took down, I sent it right to you.
Let me ask you: have you watched the other interviews he's done on the other channels?
I have watched every one of them, and I'm gonna tell you, each time has been something different. Oh, we went out we were out riding on our motorcycles, trying to clear our mind. Oh, we went to eat at this restaurant just to get out as a family outing. Not one poster in that barbecue place, just so you know. Not one poster of medicine. Not one.
How you know?
Because JLR took the poster in this morning.
Oh.
And gave it to him.
Let me ask you something. What about when he said Nancy was saying you only hit him one time, once ever with a belt. Do you believe that?
I don't believe that. I don't believe that because CPS is not going to get called on you for one time. And first of all, being a mom, who gave him permission to even touch that child that ain't his?
I agree with. Yeah. I agree with that for sure. I think that's weird.
If you're a step parent and you have a problem with a child that you're raising, you go to that biological parent and you tell them, hey, this is going on. We need to work on something. We need to figure out something or something. Let that parent handle it. Don't let the step parent handle it because it's not their kid. They really don't know what state of mind that kid could be in, even though you may have been with that parent with that kid since he was a baby, but you still don't know what that kid's mindset is because you don't know what he's thinking about you. Oh, you don't put your hands on me. Now I'm going to retaliate and I'm just going to leave.
Some people in the chat that tell me you're right. So you're right. Okay.
And I'm having a hard time. I have small dogs. I have the same dog she has.
Oh, shit. Those dogs. All right, tell me about the dogs.
I have the same one.
Oh.
I don't care if the door blew open by itself. Them dogs are going to go crazy. Them are small dogs. They bark at every little noise.
That's true. I got dogs recently, too, and like any little thing is so annoying. They just start barking. So even on my own phone, something goes off on my phone, or the psychotic neighbor above me that's medicated, if he's going to kill somebody. They always like jump up. Sometimes when I'm walking them outside, they just start going crazy. I sometimes say I wish I had a whiplash. Sometimes when I'm walking them, because I just like whip them in shape. Because they're just out of control. So I see something like watch out, just to calm them down, like straighten them out. I'm kidding.
I'm not laughing at you because I go through that. I have one that
I've joked about that.
I can be in the living room and I can sneeze, and he can be in the bedroom and he will go crazy. Another thing is, it was already said that there was no scent picked up from that child from that house anywhere outside of that house. No scent. And all of a sudden now there's this scent going to some kind of pond.
No, I thought they said there was a scent outside the house.
No. There was no scent at the beginning. That was stated.
Well, at the beginning there wasn't.
Second of all,
okay.
If you don't want people to know where you're at, why are you going to post it on Facebook that you're in Mississippi?
Oh, shit.
He's got it all over in Mississippi looking for new work. Hello, you're running from YouTubers and TikTokers and Joe Blow and Sally Sue and all them, but yet you got it all over Facebook. Imagine that. You can't be hiding too well. Then you got a van. I don't.
What's up with the van?
You can't tell us the year and the model. That's all everybody wanted. What year was it? What model was it?
Yeah, she said it was classified, like some government issued vehicle. I guess.
Right, like a government issued van. Mom didn't bring up the fact that she is trained in MMA. They didn't bring up the fact that they were joyriding on a motorcycle.
They didn't bring it. They cooperating with police, they say.
That's what they say.
Oh, shit.
Chris was asked to take a lie detector test. He refused it. Now all of a sudden he wants to take one for Nancy Grace. When it's time for Chris to go up against the male, Chris will not do it. I watched it. There have been many males have asked him for interviews. He refuses to do it.
Really?
But a female asks him, he will do it. I'm like, what is it? Are you this, excuse my language now, I don't want to get you in trouble. Are you this big belly badass towards females, but you can't be this big belly badass towards males? What, you think they're going to know your game? They're going to see right through you? What? We see right through you now. And I'm sitting here and I'm watching it. And I'm going to say, she may not have had nothing to do with it, but that mama did. That mama did. If she was at home by herself and she heard that noise, and all these things she did was holler in there and say, I don't know what you're doing, but go to bed. And she getting off her ass and going in that room to find out her child could have been hurt, anything.
No, we don't know anything about her being involved, Mama.
Right. But I got a 15-year-old. I hear a noise in his room. I'm getting up. I'm going to check. I don't care who you are. Who. Somebody's going to answer. I'm not going to sit in there on my bed. Go to bed. You need to, whatever you're doing, stop. I'm getting up and going.
My mama, when I used to play video games, she used to come bang on my door and shit. You know, like, bang, 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 Mary Bing! Or any little thing. So,
right.
my mother was nosy. She used to, you know, bang on the door, pretend that, like, oh, I didn't know it was your mail. She opens up my letters and my mail that comes in. My mom, some parents got to be like that. You got to be nosy to see what your parents are going into, what your kids are going into.
You don't know what's going on. And I'm going to tell you,
till this day, I'm over 30. Till this day, if someone shows up at the house, oh, I opened it by accident. Mom, I'm not a drug dealer. I do YouTube. Come on. I'm really, this is what I do.
And until this day, I'm finding it really hard. I know you have a daughter. I have kids, and probably half of your viewers have kids. Today, in schools, they're using Chromebooks. In order for a Chromebook to work, you have to have the internet. So there is no, he don't have the internet. Oh, yes, he does have access to internet. He may not have it at your house, but he has it at school.
True.
And ain't no 15-year-old boy, girl, gonna leave their damn cell phone at home and leave. And especially an autistic kid that's scared of fire ants is not gonna walk out of the house with no shoes on.
That's kind of surprising, yeah. That he, you know, supposedly left at whatever time, 3, 4 in the morning on his own.
With no shoes on.
No shoes on, flashlight, Dora the Explorer type of shit. That's kind of weird. I don't know.
If them dogs would have heard that kid going out that door, they would have barked.
How many dogs they got? Just one dog, or?
They have two from the picture I seen. They have two little, they're Yorkie mix. I'm not sure what they're mixed with, but they're mixed. But some of this stuff they're saying, and I can tell you right now, Seth is the one that called the Cajun Navy.
That's what I heard too, actually. That is what I heard too. Yeah.
Not her. He called him because he got hurt out there searching. He had blisters on his feet. He had hurt his arm. You can see the video when he hurt himself. And you can see, literally, when they had him take off his shoes, you can see the blisters. And he said, I can't do it no more. As much as I want to, I can't. I need help. And that's when the Cajun Navy came in. I've been on top of this case because it reminds me of the Tisha Stout all the way.
I really hope that's not the case. I really hope it's not.
Mel, you know when that stuff with Gannon went down, them people were still in that house. The dad, the grandma, whatever, all them people. They made them leave so they can do a thorough investigation. And I do believe that's what happened here with Chris and Katie. That's why they're where they are, in that camper. Because something happened in that house and they know it, and they're in there collecting the evidence. But they don't want them to know it.
All right, Tay. Well, I appreciate
it. But I had to get this out to you because I'm like, man, you, something that I'm watching and I'm going, somebody pay attention. This is what they're saying because it's not adding up to what their other interviews are.
That's the thing. I think, there's some pretty, like, I don't know, credible people I think I some credible people I follow on Twitter that have like watched all the interviews and felt there's something sus. I haven't watched all the interviews, so I need to like I'm going on a road trip soon, so maybe on the road trip I need to just listen to these interviews and see what the hell's
Right.
going on, what everybody's talking about.
There is a part that she did left out, which was very concerning that she hasn't told on any interviews, not even with Nancy tonight. She got in her vehicle and drove around while she was on the phone with Chris. Excuse me, didn't you think that was important to let Nancy know, the Cajun Navy know, the police know, but yet you told a TikToker that, or a YouTuber?
Right. It's kind of crazy too that they're rerouting 911 calls, I guess, to save expenses and stuff. So you're in an emergency, you need help, and they say that shit to like Mexico or India or something, so for somebody else to answer.
That's not what they do. That's not what they do. You can call 911 from whatever city or town you're in, tell them that there's an emergency at Timbuktu, Florida, and they're going to ask you, would you like us to send you to that dispatch?
Oh, that's what they do. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So what he said about all this and calling 911 at 6:20 and then turning around and said he called the sheriff's office. Hold up, dude, did you call 911 or did you call the sheriff's office? Which one is it?
Right.
I'm sorry to take your time, but this is just very aggravating.
I know, Tay, you say we got to get it out, so I figured let me just hit you up and see what you have to say. All right, so I appreciate you. Appreciate you sharing your opinion.
All right,
take care. Thank you.
You too. Bye.
All right, cool. We might have to have Tay as a regular on the channel. I don't know. Hey, she hit me up in the chat and emailed me and said there was a couple of things that, she had to get off her chest. Cops have said that these two are cooperating. But I haven't watched the interviews. I haven't watched all the interviews on different multiple channels. I'm not sure what to think anymore. And the scary thing is that this could turn to a Summer Wells thing. As far as Summer Wells is still missing to this day. Is that going to happen with Sebastian? I'm joking, by the way, about outsourcing 911 calls. Even though, who knows, one day, maybe it'll go there one day. To another country or something. But they do that dispatch thing. Like, they'll send you somewhere else, and you gotta, like, argue with them or figure out. And, are you really dying? Are you sure you got a shot? Are you really bleeding? Okay, where do you live? And what's your address? Okay, well, let's see if we can transfer you. Please hold, sir. I heard that's a thing. I guess in the smaller places, maybe that's a thing. In the smaller counties or states, I don't know. Rural areas. Rochelle says, I watched, they were cleared. I haven't heard about they were cleared. I've heard the stepdad say that, but I did read in multiple articles that they are cooperating with police. As far as them leaving, I mean, it's almost like Jordan Willis with the Kansas City or whatever it is, where these 3 people turned up dead outside of his place, and people are like calling, harassing, blah, blah, blah. I'm still reserving. I'm side-eyeing. I am side-eyeing a bit, but I'm still reserving. I honestly think I've watched a lot of Nancy's videos, and this one felt different to me. It almost, to be honest, felt like an interrogation, or she used to be a prosecutor, or if she was cross-examining some witnesses. That's what it felt like to me, kind of. Might be a chase. Man, I just need to go lay down, call it a night. I've had to push a few things back to tomorrow. So tomorrow we're gonna do a couple things. I'm gonna rearrange stuff and schedule things for tomorrow. P. Diddy, we're gonna be following, of course. Allegedly, his plane flew out of the state or country. Actually, I should say country. P. Diddy. Oh, and trending on Twitter. Oh my god, trending on Twitter is Diddy. There's the Diddler is trending too. I don't know where's that at. The Diddler. Diddy. Diddler. The Diddler. Here we go. The Diddler trending on Twitter. Wow. Boy, better run. Mo wants to call in. Mo wants to call in. All right, Mo. I'm gonna call you on my phone, and you have a few minutes. Let's do it. And then I gotta call my mama. She called me too. Mama's love. Hi.
Hi.
What do you want to tell them about the outsourced calls, or is it something else?
So it's not outsourced calls.
Come on, man. We know what's going on. It's a conspiracy.
It's not a conspiracy. So
All right,
first of all, calling the sheriff's direct line is literally in the same room as 911. And so we have two different lines. We have a 911 line, a direct 911 line, and then there's the sheriff direct dispatch line. Literally the same room. I can talk to them directly. We actually, 90% of our missing children calls come in straight through the sheriff's direct line. One, because it gets the information faster. We don't have to go through the protocols. We can get the information out. An officer dispatched right away. So as far as him calling the sheriffs, that makes sense. As far as why he would call the sheriff as opposed to mom, who was hysterical, is actually helpful for us, because when an hysterical person calls in, we can't understand the address, we can't understand the phone number, we can't understand what the heck is going on. So it's actually more beneficial for a calm person to call us.
So in an emergency, don't call 911.
No.
Try to Google search. Take your time. Google search the phone number, and then don't call yourself. Find somebody that doesn't have much of a relation or some type of relation to call to speak for you.
No, that is not what I'm saying. In an emergency, if there's an actual life and death emergency, 100% call 911. 100%. If there's life or limb or death, you can't breathe, heart attack symptoms, chest pain, anything, you fell, have a traumatic injury, you call 911. If you're reporting an incident where, a missing child, and if you don't know the sheriff's number, clearly he already knew the sheriff's number.
What's that? That's tough. Why he know that shit?
Because 90%. Because if you live in a rural area like that,
oh, okay.
And if anything has happened in the past, like we have the street I live on, the actual street itself is the jurisdiction is the state police. Okay. My neighborhood off that street is the sheriff's department. So I know that if I need somebody, I need to call the sheriff's department, not state police type of thing. And then the people who live on that street know that they have to call the Maryland State Police, right? So if first of all, I would highly suggest everybody to understand what jurisdiction you're in and make sure you know who you're calling if you need an emergency. If not, 100% call 911. We will get you to where you need to be. My point is he clearly knew the sheriff's department number or the sheriff's department direct line. And so he called that number. But 100% call 911. And also one other thing that I have to add is, as far as mom is concerned, as far as stepdad is concerned, me personally, if my child was missing for over a month, I would be a shell of a person. I would be numb and possibly on anti-anxiety medication. And I probably would not be able to discuss anything, look at any camera, do hardly anything. And on top of that, being threatened or saying that I'm responsible for my son being missing, I would be hysterical and not be able to handle hardly anything. So until personally, this is just my opinion, until I hear actual evidence or something that points to mom or points to stepdad or points to dad or a friend of dad or whatever, I wouldn't want to rake mom through the coals because we don't know what's going on in her mind and in her heart right now. And she's probably heartbroken.
All right, let me ask you 2 questions.
Oh, also, wait a minute.
Okay.
And how the heck is she going to hide all that evidence? If she did do something, where is all the evidence? Where is anything?
The Illuminati.
Illuminati?
I'm just kidding. Let me ask you 2 questions, serious questions. Let's say you're in a situation where you're out of state and you need to call for somebody somewhere else. Like, what advice would you give? Like in another state?
I actually had to do this for my dad. So when I was in New Mexico and my dad is here in Maryland, I had to look up what county. All you need to know is what county they live in. And so you look for 911 local number for that county. And then you call that number. And even if you're off, like say you think you know the county or it's the county next to it, if you call that county, then they will transfer you to where that address is. Because the problem is the way that the CAD system is set up, if we enter in a number or an address that is not in our jurisdiction, we cannot process the call. So we have to get you over to the actual jurisdiction area for them to process the call. We don't even have access to send anybody to them for assistance. So it's very important that you contact the actual jurisdiction or the county in which your person or the subject is in.
When people call you guys, does it automatically show like an address and all kinds of information, or it depends?
It depends. If you're calling on a wire line, like a landline, it will show us the address. It will show us the phone number. It will show us sometimes even the name of the person. However, if you're calling on a landline and you call 911, and we ask, the very first question is always going to be, where is the address of the emergency, right? Because if the phone disconnects, if something happens with the line, that's the information that we need 100%. Where are we sending help? Because even if you call and say, I need police or I need an ambulance, and then your phone gives out, we're sending somebody, right? We're not going to be like, oh, well. But so if you call on a landline, we get the address, the phone number, the name, but we do have to verify some of the things. You do still have to tell us so we can make sure it's correct. If you're calling on a cell phone, it depends on the cell phone. A lot of iPhones are great because they give us they give us the location. We can actually kind of see you on the map.
What? Hell no! With iPhone?
Yeah.
I mean, that could be good.
On the map. We have people who call while they're driving, and so like the little dot will go down the road.
Oh shit! All right, one more question.
Okay.
So when we talked about too the whole like the dispatch rerouting versus calling directly, how much of a delay could that be? Like, what's the difference? Like, is it a big difference or?
So legally, or the goal is to, from the time that the call comes in to the time that we dispatch somebody, we want to have that go out underneath 2 minutes, right? So if somebody calls and has to get transferred, that's going to be up to 5 to 6 minutes before somebody is sent. So if somebody calls directly to the sheriff's dispatch, we can literally send an officer out within 30 seconds.
Wow.
And they're they're on their way to that location.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Thank you, Mo.
You're welcome.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. All right. I was just playing around with her a little bit. All right. I guess that's it for tonight. She works in dispatch, so she wanted to give a little bit of feedback on her experience, which I'm really happy for her. She got a job. That job, not that she got a job, that she got a job that she loves. So that's cool. All right. I guess that's it for tonight. I am going on a road trip soon. Maybe when I go on the road trip, I'll try to listen to those other interviews. Again, these people are innocent until proven guilty. I can understand why people feel some kind of way, maybe, or sus. But, I always would say, don't harass people or stalk people or anything like that. They've been in communication with the cops and stuff. And so we'll just have to see what turns out. But I really hope this is not another, Summer Wells, which I never covered that story. A lot of people have, that this person just goes missing and somehow vanishes from the universe, never to be seen again, which is just blows my mind how that happens, but it does. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't freaking know. Missy says, have you seen the Nancy interview with Elizabeth Smart? Nancy isn't always right. I haven't, but I did a video before I head out. The basement story. You guys know the basement story? Let me do a little poll in the chat real quick. Poll. Do you know the boy in the basement story? This is like, I don't know why, I really enjoyed making the video, even though it was so really tragic. The person's alive, but it was a really shitty situation. Boy in the basement, Icked Mel. Wow. We're really going for a 50-50 here? 52% say yes, 48% say no. Really? 50-50. Literally, okay, 52, 50. Oh, I can't with you guys. I actually did a couple of follow-ups to that story with the boy in the basement. 49% say yes, 50% say no. It's literally 50-50 right now. Wow. Oh my God.
Take a close.
I'm going to put the link in the description on this channel of this YouTube video, but this shit was so wild. I've never seen anything like this in my life to date. Oh, let me fix this. Here. There. Okay. All right. Make myself smaller. All right. I never seen no ish like this before. I don't know if there ever will be something like this again. But
Look at Charlie missing.
This is my 12-year-old son, Charlie.
His friends knock on door after door, hoping to find his son. The FBI police working together to find him.
Tonight, a little boy is missing. Take a look at him. Charlie Bothell, father of the missing child. Is it true that you have been going door to door trying to get people to help you find your son?
It is. I've been going door to door since he disappeared.
bruh, this story is crazy. Now, I was sent this video the other day by Jazz. We're going to watch this together because my reaction, she heard my initial reaction, and I pretty much had one word to say. I kind of screamed out loud, and I was like, it was just kind of crazy. And so I had to go look up and see what came out of this story. And make sure you check out the channel sponsor, Swag It. You can find that. All right. So we're going to watch this together.
The father of the missing 12-year-old boy, Charlie. With me is his father, Charlie Bothell. Charlie, we're getting
This was on live TV.
reports that your son has been found in your basement.
So they're literally, this guy's kid's been missing. I think it was for 11 days at the time. They're on a live broadcast, okay? Doing an interview. While they're doing this live broadcast, they find this guy's son. Yo, Nancy's face. Yo, look at Nancy's face.
Mr. Bothell, are you?
What?
Yeah, we are getting reports that your son has been found alive in your basement.
What?
Yes, that's what. If you
Dude.
could hand me that wire very quickly. Yeah, we're getting that right now from. Yeah, how could your son be alive in your basement?
Comment down below right now. Don't look at anybody's comment. Just go type in the box. Tell me what you're thinking about this. Come on.
Oh shit. I have no idea.
Look at Nancy's face.
Now, this is just a report that we are hearing out of Detroit that we're trying to confirm. Everybody in New York, please get on it. Let me know when we get Charlie Langton from WWJ. Sir, did you check your basement?
I checked my basement. The FBI checked my basement. The Detroit police checked my basement. My wife checked my basement. I've been down there several times. We've all been checking. How?
Okay, this is what we are hearing, that the missing 12-year-old boy has been found alive and well in his father's basement. Now, this is what I don't understand why you guys would have reported he's missing, and all our viewers have been on the lookout for him.
We've been on the lookout for him. We searched that entire house repeatedly. The FBI searched, the Detroit police searched. We've all searched. Oh, God, they brought dogs, everything. Everybody is searched. What? Oh, God, my son.
Have you checked your cell phone?
My cell phone is dead. I actually getting down here. I left it in the car charging because it had died on me. Oh, God.
And you're telling us that you searched your basement and your wife searched your basement?
I searched my basement. My wife searched my basement. The FBI searched my basement. The Detroit police searched my basement. We've all searched my basement multiple times. Yes. They had the dogs searched. We've all searched the basement. The dogs searched my basement. Oh, God.
Okay, well, you know what? I'm going to give you a chance to call home and see what you can find out. Charlie Langton, WWJ News. Charlie, we're getting reports tonight that the boy has been found alive in Daddy's basement.
Yeah, Nancy, we're just getting word right now, and we've just basically confirmed that, the boy has been found alive in the father's basement. And we're just getting right now that is true. And literally, it just broke moments ago. Now, why the father didn't know about that for the last 11 days, what if the child was afraid, if there was any other collusion amongst anyone, what the child ate, all of those are questions that we are trying to get reports on right now. We understand that we're sending news crews right now to the scene. We're also understanding that the police chief is going to make yet another announcement that should be coming up a little bit later on. But, yes, the boy has been found alive in his father's basement.
So this part now, okay, I think this is like the day after, or I don't know if it's the same day.
It was the same day.
But the media catches the father and they wanted to talk to him. There's a portion behind this that explains how they find the child, and I'll play that after. But I first want to get the father's reaction.
Did you know that he was in the basement? Man, no, I didn't know that he was in the basement. I searched. My wife searched. We've had dozens of police officers, FBI agents here, dogs. We've all been searching for my son. So any intimation that I knew that he was in there somehow, it's absurd.
How dare you?
Literally, I couldn't find him. If the FBI couldn't find him and the Detroit police couldn't find him, for anybody to intimate, they did finally. Yeah, they've been living in my house for the last 10, 11 days. They've been here. We looked in my basement. I looked in my basement. They looked. They went down there with search dogs. My wife looked.
When was the last time you looked?
How the hell did these people go down there with search dogs and not find this child?
When was the last time you looked for your son down there?
The last time I looked for my son down there was a few days ago, before the FBI did, before they came with the dogs. No, I've been in the basement, but
Has he ever hidden in the basement before? Has he ever hidden down there before?
No, he hasn't.
We heard that your ex-wife may have been hiding him down there from you and feeding him.
That's absurd. And my ex-wife did not take off. The FBI or the task force was here executing a search warrant. They forced my wife to leave. I was here. You guys were here.
How dare any of you question me?
They stated we could not be in the house while the search was being executed. That was a decision of law enforcement, not the decision of my wife.
How surprised are you that he was found in the basement?
I'm shocked because I looked, like I said, the Detroit police looked, the FBI looked, repeatedly. They've been through here. They've been in my house until 3 in the morning on occasions and all night. When the lieutenant kept me and my family at the police station from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. The Detroit police and the task force were here all night executing search warrants. So to say that, for anybody to imply that I somehow knew that my son was in the basement, it's absurd and it's wrong. I love my son. I'm glad that he's home and he's going to have the great future that he deserves to have.
Well, no one
period.
Okay.
Wow.
All right, and you are watching.
God is good. God is good.
The father of Charlie Bothell, 12-year-old Charlie, his father, Charlie the Fourth, obviously overcome with emotion at the news that his son has been found. Charlie was just at a studio recording a...
Oh, my God. Look, it's so beautiful. They're all holding him and hugging him. It's time for a prayer circle now. Let's pray for the man.
Segment for the Nancy Grace Show, pleading for his son's safe return. He had told us all along he believed that his son was alive. This day has been a crazy range of emotions, with the chief telling us earlier that he actually thought the child may have been a victim of homicide. Take a look.
Yes, I believe my son is alive.
So that's the second part. I put the link of the first part in the description as well as the second part. And I did deep dive the story. This father ended up trying to sue Nancy Grace.
With me is his father, Charlie Bothell.
Striking back against a TV figure looking for a considerable payday.
And, he faced torture charges with his son, also child charges, lost his job as a registered nurse, also separated from his wife, apparently living with family in West Bloomfield. But then there is this lawsuit filed today against Nancy Grace. As uncomfortable as that is to watch, Charlie says his brush with Nancy Grace ruined his life, so he's suing her, looking for a payback.
Believe it or not, Charlie's father actually tried to sue Nancy Grace. It says here, defendants broadcast to the world false information about plaintiff, evidence and allegations against him while accusing him of the most heinous possible crime, long-standing torture of his minor child, that there were markings all over Charles's body that correspond to a particular PVC pipe used by the father to beat his son and make all those markings on his body. Plaintiff's reputation.
Did you hit your son Charlie the fifth with the PVC pipe?
Yes.
With the PVC pipe?
Yes.
Son would never hurt Charlie?
Well,
about an hour before Charlie was found yesterday afternoon.
Would your son ever hurt him?
Charlie?
Well.
About an hour before Charlie was found yesterday afternoon, his stepmom did not have much to say, but Action News has learned that her uncle, Godfrey Dillard, who is running for Michigan State Attorney General, has a listed address in the same building, just 3 condo units away from his niece, Charlie's stepmom. And police sources believe Monique Dillard Bothell knew little Charlie was being kept a prisoner in the basement. And in the back of the basement, there is a hallway that actually connects all of the units. So was little Charlie able to come and go on his own, or was some adult orchestrating his every move?
The weird thing about this story is that the more and more that I dig, the more and more weird stuff that I find. And thank you to Flossie that sent me a lot of the information with this video. And so, judge, no torture in case of This thing went back and forth. It was a real big mess. Went to trial, all this kind of stuff. A whole mess. I think they got pleaded to a lesser charge or something like that.
Well, if he was,
but I don't know. To this day, I really don't know the full updates to Charlie. But I dug as deep as I could, and yeah, the lawsuit was dropped. But this guy wanted to try to sue Nancy. I mean, just wild. So crazy. One of the craziest stories. I've covered a lot of crazy. That was one of the craziest stories. I can imagine like happening in real time. This guy faking the funk, TMZ has the first video of Diddy after his homes were raided by the feds. Monday he was caught pacing around Miami airport. Oh shit, Diddy.
And then
that boy Diddy. Oh, making moves, Diddy. Rough times. Gonna have to spend a lot of money. Take that. I don't know. A lot of pressure on him. Anyway, I am gonna get off. Hopefully I'm gonna go to sleep. And I'm pushing everything else back to tomorrow. Somebody said, let me see. Are you the judge and jury? That's a different story. I want to reply yes. I'm gonna say yes. Reply back. Okay. All right. Good night, guys. Thank you so much for today. Have a good night. Peace. Adios. Blah, blah, blah. Bloop, bloop. I'm tired. Bloop, bloop. What a day. It's been a long day today. Bloop, 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 bloop. The Diddler.